Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to learn about the listeners in Selenium. Okay. So when I say listeners in Selenium, that can be TestNG listeners or that can be also WebDriver listeners. So in this particular video we are going to learn about TestNG listeners. Okay. Now before seeing it, let's first understand what do you mean by listeners. Listeners, as the name indicate, it's listening to some specific events, right? And then when I say test ng listeners, so obviously it will be listening to the events of test ng. Okay, so what are the test ng events? What do we do in test ng? We create test cases, correct? We do it at the rate test. So you can do something specific of your choice on test pass and on test fail, on test skip, and so on. Okay, so there are multiple different types of listeners that TestNG provide. That can be for reporting, that can be on suite level, that can be on class level, and so on. So in this particular video, we are going to see the TestNG listeners that can be implemented at class level. Okay, the name of this listener is iTest listener. I'll just repeat in short, what does it do? It listens to your specific events. If I'm talking about iTest listener, it works on class level. So it has got various functions for on test success, on test failure. So what you want to do on such specific events, you can just tell it. Okay. So let's now see this in practical. So I'll just open my Eclipse. Okay, so I have got a sample class created for me, right? So what I've done here, I have just set the property for my Chrome driver and I've opened my Chrome driver. We have mentioned a very simple code. I'm just opening the Amazon website and I'm quitting my browser after that, right? Nothing more done. So let's now create another class here. So I name it my test listener, right? Okay, finish. So you create a class for yourself, and what does this class do? In this class, you have to write implements iTest listener. Okay, so iTest listener is an interface within TestNG. Let's see those methods. Okay, but before that, guys, now as you can see here, you see, we are not getting an error. We are implementing an interface, but we are not getting an error to add the unimplemented methods, right? Now, this depends on the version of Java that you are using. If you are using an older version of Java in your machine right now, you would get an error. Like as soon as you write this, you would get an error in this line. Hovering on that error would give you a fix saying add unimplemented methods. As soon as you click on it, you will get all the methods of iTest listeners listed over here, right? Because obviously it's an interface, so you need to override all of its methods, right? But now, as I have latest version of Java in my machine, and as per the latest Java, what has happened is they have provided a default implementation for each of the methods of the interface, right? Because of the default implementation of each methods in the interface, I'm not getting this error. So it gives me the freedom to override only those methods which I want to and just ignore the rest. Okay, but how do I bring those methods right here? Okay, so for that, guys, go to your iTest listener, right click on it. So you'll see a source option here. Okay, so go to source and then here you see an option saying override or implement methods, right? Okay, so clicking on that, you get all your methods that is present in that particular interface. right? Now we have multiple methods saying on finish, what you want to do when your test case finish, what you want to do when your test case starts, and so on. So I don't want to implement everything. I'll just want right now to implement two particular things, right? On test failure and on test success. So I want to perform something when my test case fails. I want to implement something on when my test case pass, right? So I'll just check these two check boxes and I'll say okay. So this will bring for me this particular methods with the override annotation, right? Now let me quickly remove these lines. It's not required as such. Okay. Okay. So what is this iTest result? Okay, so if I hover it, you can say iTest result containing information about the run test. So this particular variable will be storing the result of your test case. It passes, it failed, how it worked, and everything. Okay, so let me print a simple statement here saying, see, so my test case passed. Okay, and let us also print the name of the test case. Okay guys, one thing, I'm doing a very simple operation here, right? I'm just putting a print statement. You want to log something into reports right here or something similar, you want to log something into Excel right here, you can do anything out here, right? So every time your test passes, your control will be coming into this particular on test success function, and whatever you have written in this block will get executed, right? Okay, so coming back here, name of the test case. Now, how do I get the name of the test case which has got passed? So, like I said, this result variable stores everything. So, we'll say result dot, and I have the function saying get name. Okay, so this will print for me the name of my test case. Similarly, let me copy this, paste it here, um, edit this, and let the other things be same for now. Okay, okay, I save this. But now guys, question, how does my Java class know that I have to work with this listener? My class doesn't know it, right? So how does it relate to this test listener class, right? So for that guys, what you have to do here is, here, like right above the class, you have to put an annotation which TestNG provides you saying listeners, okay? And then you need to provide the path of your listener class. So my listener class is right here within the same package. So what I can do is I can directly say my test listener dot class, correct? But in your case guys, it's possible that it can be within some package. So provide your package name followed by dot class name. For example, consider you have a package named test, and within that test package you have my test listener. Okay, so you can say @listeners. Okay, let me write that for you. You can probably say @listener. Say it's within the test package, so you'll be writing it something like this: my test listener dot class, right? Okay, so but for now let me comment this out because I have it here itself, and that's all guys. You did not do anything else, so this test case will run. I have already told my test case that you have to work as per this listener. So if depending on my test case pass or failure, it will automatically come here. It will see, and accordingly it will go into the function it has to, and it will do the operations that I have mentioned here, right? So let's check. I'll run this. Okay, so it opens the browser and it is now going to close, right? And my test case has passed right now. I see one test run in which one has passed. And here, guys, this is the main thing. My test case passed. And what was the name of the test case? It was open browser. That's the name of test case I've mentioned here. Right? Now let's also check the failure thing. So I'll do one thing. I'll just create another test case in which I will say, okay, public void. What do I do here? Okay, validate page title maybe. Okay, and then uh, okay, so I'll have to do all the Chrome operations in this case. So let's do some maybe maths operation. Okay, fine. And let me say assert dot assert equals, and I'll be asserting true with false maybe. Okay, so I'm just deliberately making it fail. Okay, I'm done. Let's run it. Okay guys, so my Amazon has opened, so my first test case is done, and now the second one. Great. So you see here, my two test case has run, my one is failure, right? The assertion error we can see here, expected false but found true. And now let's see the main thing. So you see here, my one test case has passed, name of test case. My another test case has failed with the name of test case, right? So this is how, guys, you can implement your listeners along with your class. But now, say you have 20 set of test cases which you are running to an XML file. So how do you implement the listeners along with XML? Let's see that. So for that, I'll have to create an XML first. So let me quickly create it. TestNG, convert to TestNG. Okay, so say finish. So I've got my XML created. I'll open it. Okay, so I've got this XML created, right? So it has my class name. I have one class, so it's here. You may be running 10, 20, 30, or n number of test classes altogether, right? So for making your listeners work along with your XML file, what do you need to do exactly? Within the suit tag, guys, you need to write listeners, right? And here you need to write listener class name, and here you need to provide the class name. Okay, so my listener name is my test listener, correct? Okay, same thing applies again. If it's within some package, you need to provide your package name dot class name. As it's in my class directly, I've just put my class name here, right? Let's now run it. Okay, I'm getting some error. Let's see what is this. Cannot find class in class bar dot sample project. Okay, so it's taking dot. It should not be. Let me remove this and we'll run it again. Okay, so this open my browser. My first test case is done, and second one, right? Okay, so see here guys, even with the testng.xml, your test cases, your listeners are implemented. But now, a question that must be coming into your mind is, why is it printing two times? Right? Because guys, right now we have implemented it twice. We have implemented it at class level, plus I have implemented it at suit level as well. As it's getting called two times, twice, therefore it's printing it twice, right? So if you are implementing it at suit level, you do not need to implement it at class level. Okay, so I'll take an example. Say you have 10 set of classes, right? And you want to run it all together. You just mention your listeners here in your XML file and it will automatically get applied to all your classes that you have mentioned here, right? But sometime you want to run only a single class and not your entire XML. So in that case, this listeners would help you out, right? So we saw running this individual class and how listeners work. But now as it's working twice, let me comment this out so that class level listeners doesn't work and I just want it to work through XML and I'll rerun it. Okay, so my browser is open, my first test case is done, and here is my second test case. And you see here guys, now it has printed it only once, right? So this is the beauty of listeners guys. You implement it once and then you're free. And you just put your operations, like right now I have put only the uh, system.out.println statements. You can do the logging work here, you can report something into Excel, or you can do something into reports or anything else that you want. You just put your operations here at once and it works like a charm for all of your test cases, right? Okay, hope you have got a good understanding of how what are listeners and how does that work with TestNG. In our next video, we will be seeing the same about WebDriver event listeners. Okay, thank you and do let me know for any questions. Bye bye.